Daredevil, Born Again, Season 2, Episode 6, finally saw Krysten Ritter reprise the role of Jessica Jones in her MCU debut, but she has also changed in several significant ways. Last week, Wilson Fisk sat by Vanessa's side at the hospital as she lay dying, before she ultimately passed away, and left the mayor of New York in mourning. Not only does Episode 6 deal with the fallout of this tragedy, but it also puts the series into full throttle as the countdown to the finale begins. All the characters appear to be in position for whatever comes next, and tensions have never been higher as the city fights back against the oppression of the AVTF and Mayor Kingpin. Why Wilson Fisk killed Vanessa's doctor, JoJo Wilden / copyright Disney Plus / Marvel Studios / courtesy Everett Collection. In the first few moments of Daredevil, Born Again, Season 2, Episode 6, a doctor attempts to offer his condolences to a grieving Fisk, only for Fisk to brutally murder him in cold blood. Evidently, this is not a good look for the mayor, and it likely spells disaster for the remainder of his time in office, as his lack of effort to try to conceal his more monstrous side is leading him down a darker path. The truth is, Fisk was only able to keep himself on a tight leash because of his deep love for Vanessa. His desire to keep her by his side and his Herculean efforts to behave in a way that ensured she would continue loving him have fueled him for the entirety of Born Again Seasons 1 and 2, and now that she is gone, he has nothing holding him back. With Vanessa's death, Mayor Wilson Fisk has officially shed the facade and is ready to embrace being the Kingpin, along with all the savagery and brutality that comes with that. This is conveyed perfectly in this early scene, and sets the stage for an intense conflict that will no doubt impact far more people than just Matt Murdock and the rest of the Vigilante Rebellion. What's happening with Jessica Jones in the MCU? We have been waiting for Jessica Jones to show up all season, and finally, in Episode 6, she arrives. Her first MCU scene sees her face off against a group of plainclothes AVTF agents, while also protecting her daughter from the violence that she is dishing out to keep her family from danger. Of course, the fact that Jessica Jones has a daughter is a revelation, and one that raises more questions, such as who the father is and what this means for her future in the MCU. However, a potentially more pressing question comes with the reveal later in the same episode when Jessica reveals her powers are wavering. We then see this firsthand when she faces off against Agent Powell of the AVTF, and her power appears to switch off for a moment, leading to Jessica Jones taking a punch to the face that causes her to bleed. This is concerning because Powell doesn't have any special powers, and Jessica's abilities usually mean she is incredibly durable. It isn't clear why her powers are flickering, but the fact that this is happening could indicate that Jessica is terminally ill, that something strange is impacting supers, which could be tied to the wider MCU, or something else entirely. Unfortunately, there is no clear answer at this point, but it's definitely a plot point that will be important down the line. Karen Page and Matt Murdock are on very different pages. Daredevil, Born Again Season 2 has finally seen Matt and Karen enter a period in their relationship that has been relatively smooth, considering the quality time they are spending in hiding together. However, cracks are beginning to appear as Matt and Karen's moral codes appear to be drifting in opposite directions. While Matt stubbornly asserts that he will not kill someone like Bullseye or even Wilson Fisk, Karen is getting tired of the high and mighty concept of not dealing out lethal justice. A lot of conflict in this episode arises from this struggle, with Karen clearly feeling like some villains deserve death, and Matt doing everything he can to avoid taking a life. Of course, when Daredevil steps out to confront Wilson Fisk, it seems as though he may need to finally make that choice, but the rift between Matt and Karen presents an interesting dilemma that may become a bigger issue as the series progresses. What will happen between Daredevil and Kingpin? Matt Murdock goes to meet with Wilson Fisk, and one of the first things he does is offer condolences about the passing of his dear wife. In this moment, we see some humanity and compassion between two characters who are often framed as forces of nature, but it doesn't last long. Matt extends an offer to Fisk for both of them to leave New York, a city that they both love, in order to protect it from the damage and destruction that they appear to inflict on it. While it seems for a moment like Wilson might consider this offer, Matt pushes things too far by bringing up the people that their conflict has caused to be killed, including his own Foggy Nelson, and Fisk's recently departed Vanessa. This causes Fisk to fly into a rage, and while Daredevil initially tries to avoid exchanging blows, he recognizes that Fisk is looking for a fight, and he won't stop coming unless he does something about it. The fight is tense, but with Fisk's high emotions, Daredevil gets the upper hand, and it seems like there is a moment when he considers taking Karen's advice and killing Fisk. Of course, he won't, not least of all because Vincent D'Onofrio is confirmed to return in Daredevil, Born Again Season 3, but also because Matt is not about to betray his own moral code, which begs the question, what happens next? Powell starts a riot and Karen is in trouble. Image via Disney+. Meanwhile, the city begins to see the damage that Fisk and the AVTF are causing, and a major protest gathers. The AVTF prepares to defend and fight back against the crowd, while the masses don masks and reveal their support for the masked vigilantes that Fisk has been trying so hard to fight back against this entire season. Within the crowd, Karen wears her disguise, a wig, and tries to avoid detection. However, when Powell gets confirmation about which AVTF agent betrayed them and gave Daredevil the keycard he needed to rescue prisoners from Red Hook, Powell kills him quickly, and blames the crowd for the mindless murder, which leads to the AVTF unleashing hell on the crowd.